title of this live stream is called Job Offer Negotiations. So in this live stream, I am obviously specifically talking to group private practice owners, and it is in response to a post that was popped up this morning, but not only that one post, there's been several over the course of the last couple of months where people have gone, you know what, I've interviewed this amazing person, I really want to make them a great offer, or maybe they've already made a great offer, but this person is wanting 10, 15, 20, in some instances, even way more than that, in order to come on board. How do I do this? You know, what do you guys think? All of those type of things. And there's so much stuff that goes into job offer negotiations, which is why I thought, no, I'm just going to jump on here and share some of my thoughts, because it's just easier for me to share with you way more information in a video, just because there's so much things that goes into it. And I love that the community is always, you know, giving their input. But what I also know is that even if every person gives a practice owner input on a specific question that they have, we never know the full context for that practice owner that's asking the question, and the people giving input, and this is what I've done, we also don't know the full context of their practice and all the behind the scenes stuff, which is why when we are asking for advice and input in the Facebook group, we still need to put it through that filter. We always need to put it through that filter of knowing that the full context of my question and my business and what it's like in the back end behind the scenes, and what the context and back end behind the scenes of people giving me input could be quite different, right? Just always keep that in mind. So coming back to that question of, if I'm a group practice owner and it's like, I've got lots of people on my wait list and I really need to hire more team members. I know it's a tough job market, especially for employers, of course, right now. What do I do? And what I can see when I read posts like that, not only in this Facebook group, in a lot of Facebook groups, and even when I speak to people, there's a lot of agony behind the question. Is like, I want to do the right thing. I want to hire somebody to service my clients. I want to pay this clinician, which I think is going to be a great fit for the team, really well. I want them to be happy, but I still want to look after the rest of the team that might not be earning the type of money this person is asking for. And we agonize over this decision, and you know, and we go around and around in our head thinking of all the stuff, and then we've got other people telling us, this is what I think you should do, this is what I think you should do, and here comes Gerda telling you what Gerda thinks you should do. So I just want you to just take a moment to breathe if this is you right now, or maybe you are currently doing this and you've searched in the group and you're finding this video a month from today. I just want you to take a step back and just breathe and just go, you know, this is really hard, and this, if I'm agonizing over this, it really tells you you're a great person and you're wanting to do the right thing. And I just love that sense of integrity within the practice owner community that is here within the PPS practice owner community. That's why I love you guys so much, and that's why you're one of my people, because I think those are really important flags for you, that agony that you want to do the right thing. But what we also know is this: we cannot make good business decisions based on emotions, and that agony, it's emotions, right? Yes, we want to make logical, data-driven business decisions while still not losing our heart and our soul, okay? While still acting in integrity. But it starts with having the logical decision-making process as the basis. You need to start from that. So a couple of things that you need to keep in mind, because it's not just one thing. It's not just two things. It's actually quite a lot of stuff that goes into good job offer negotiations, where you get the outcome you want and the candidate feels that they got the outcome that they want. Okay, it's not one or two things that gets them over the line. It is a combination of things. And that's why when I read posts like this, I go, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. But that's not the full picture. Okay. And therefore it's hard to give that full picture. So a couple of things to consider. All right. So I always suggest when somebody comes to me and say, Gerda, I've got this amazing person, I want to make them the offer, this is what they want, all of that type of thing. I always ask them this: have you run the numbers? And, sometimes people say yes, sometimes people say no. If they say yes, I say, okay, take me through the numbers. And then I realize that their version of running the numbers is very different from my version of running the numbers. A lot of times they've gone like, how many clients or billables does this person need to have in order for me to break even? It's like, I love you, but break even is not the goal. But if they at least can break even, I'm okay with that. The practice owner will tell me, I'm okay with just breaking even. It's like, yeah, you might be okay with it right now because you're concerned about the clients on the wait list. You want them to get the help that they need, right? You want to give this person what they want because you're desperate. Let's call it what it is. You get desperate to get them on board. So, and you are going, I'm happy not to make a profit. But the fact of the matter is, this is gonna come back to bite you in the ass. And unfortunately, I'm in the position where I get to speak to practice owners when they're being bitten in the ass too many times, and then they come to me, and then we need to fix mistakes that's been made along the way. And I can tell you it's much harder to fix things than it is to do it right from the start. I can tell you I speak with practice owners that are making in excess of $1-2 million, and they're not profitable because they've gone into it and they've built these huge teams because they've gone, I'm okay with just breaking even. Well, it's not okay because your costs go up every month, right? Every month, super's gone up, cost of living's gone up. For your team, yes, which means you need to give them an increase every year, but you've got expenses that go up every month. Just breaking even is not running a business, okay? Did you know that? Just breaking even is not running a business. That's not even running a charity. Did you know that even charities make profit? Right? I once went to an event with a charity. I was a member, and it was the AGM, and they took us through their books and stuff, and the CEO was going through the P&Ls, and they said, so this year we only made a very small profit of $85,000 for the year. And I went, geez Louise, if only all my practice owners that are in their for-profit businesses could be telling me that this year they only made $85,000. If that was their bare minimum profit, I would be so happy. But guess what? It's not the case. It is not the case. Yes, there's practice owners making profit of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. But there's a lot of practice owners with huge revenue that when you look at their businesses from the outside, they look like they've got this. They're like one of the big guys, right, in the industry. But they're not profitable. And those practice owners are really, really struggling. So when I come in and say these things, it's because I want you to build a business that's not going to become the biggest headache. That's not going to become this place where you go, I feel a lot of shame because I've built this amazing business from the outside, but on the inside, I feel like such a failure because I know me and my accountant and my husband probably knows that we're not making a profit. And there's a lot of shame attached to it. And it's really hard when you're in that place to start asking for help. And there's normally two things that contribute directly to that type of stuff, and that is not having the right business model or for them, or not having a business, their chosen business model isn't set up in a way to make profit. There is no right or wrong business model. Can I just say that? And I know now I'm going in typical Gerda fashion off on a freaking tangent, but employment model versus contractor model, those are our two main things. The one ain't necessarily better than the other. It's what's better for you. But you can have either of them and make a loss, and you can have either of them and make a profit, a great profit. But if you do not operationalize your chosen business model properly, you're going to stuff it up. And people do it all the time. And then they come to me and go, hey, Gerda, I think I need to stop contracting and now do employment model because it's just not profitable. Then I look at it and go, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, and vice versa here. I've had people, have an employee model and saying, it's just not profitable, Gerda, I want to do contracting. And it's like, let's not throw that baby out with the bathwater. Let's look at how you've set up this model. And a lot of people just don't set it up right because, again, there's so many things that goes into building a business. And you might be doing 1 or 2 things right, or even 3 and 4, but there's probably 10 things that you're not even doing because you don't know you need to do it. But let's come back to making job offers. My apologies for that tangent, but I feel it was really important. So you need to start with that logical base in terms of, when somebody applies for a job or have got a role, and I run the numbers within my business, and I've taught my academy members to do this as well. We've got it's almost like a bit of an org structure level type of Excel sheet, right? And there's like 10 levels. So we go, where does this person fit on these level based on here's registration, based on level of experience, etc., etc. So when I am interviewing a candidate, I go, oh, this person's got 3 years experience, they're a clinician level 2, this is where they sit. This is the award. Now, we do not pay award because it's very low. You're not going to find people if you're paying award. So you have to pay above award. You also need to know what the current market rates are, and there's a way to know what that is. I've just gotten the latest market rates out for the last financial year. So you need to know what's the award, because that's the level that goes into the contract. Then you need to know, okay, what is the market rate? And you need to have quite a number of other columns. So we also look at what is the minimum billables that we expect this person to have, and what is the maximum billables. Because you know what another mistake is people make when they running the numbers, they only look at, I normally ask people to do 24 clients a week, so this is what they're gonna do, and based on that, I'm gonna break even or whatever. No, right? You need to look at the whole range, because sometimes things happen. Sometimes you think this person is going to be so great and amazing, they're going to hit the road running because they've got all this experience, but then they come in and they can't hit their billables for various reasons, and they struggle to get there. And it's 6 months in and they're still not hitting their variables, or their billables, sorry. So you need to know what is the minimum variables that if this person struggles, needs more support than what I am predicting right now, what is that going to look like? Where's break even here? How long am I prepared not to, have a additional profit there? And what is the ideal billables for this person? Where if they're chugging along nicely and they're doing what they need to do, that's the ideal billables. What does that look like? And then we look at what is, the contribution to OPEX, to operating expenses, how much is this role specifically going to contribute, and we go from there. So there's a lot of basic fundamental financial benchmarks that you need to have in place, and when you have that in place, it takes the emotion out of it, right? So again, we know exactly what the market rate is, and we go, that's what we are willing to pay, and I'm not willing to go above that. I just don't. It's like when you go to an auction for a house, you need to know what is the level where you go, I'm tapping out, okay? Because I might emotionally want this house, emotionally is like, I will pay anything just to get this house. But no, I need to have a rule, and you need to have the self-discipline where you are gonna tap out. And you need the same with your job offers. So that's the emotional stuff, not the emotional, the logical part of it. You need to have those guiding operational benchmarks when it comes to job offers. If you don't have something like that, reach out to me. I actually spent 90 minutes taking my PPS Academy members through how to utilize that spreadsheet. We did examples and stuff. So, it's not something that we can even explain on a video like this. So that's what you need to have, okay? You need to remember, especially if you have an employee model, that employers can no longer ask employees not to disclose their salary to the fellow team members. So I think it's really important for transparency purposes for you to offer very fair rates. And when I say that, it's like if somebody that is on this level on the org structure speaks to somebody else that's on that level, they need to be more or less on the same money, right? Because if the one hears that the other one is earning 5K more than they are, well, I would be pissed off if that was me. I would be not happy, and you would probably lose me unless you're willing to put me up as well. And can you see what's going to start happening then? Then the other people are going to realize, I'm actually a level above them, and I'm actually now earning the same than them. Should I not be earning more money? And before you know it, it's this freaking snowball of additional expenses that you never bargained for. So that's where the discipline, the tapping out comes into. You need to know what that market rate is that you're willing to pay. That is the offer. Okay, that is the offer, and you know that it is a good offer. You need to be confident in that offer. But let's be clear about this. Money is only one part of the offer. When we have interviewed somebody, Amy says, love, this is good confirmation that we're on the right page with how we're handling this. Awesome, great to hear that. Good to have you here as well, Anita. I see Anita is watching. Okay, so that's the money part. But money is not the only thing that makes people say yes to you. Right? I am very sure that myself and a lot of the people in my academy with, who I know their businesses intimately, they're making job offers where other practices have offered candidates more money and they're still getting the candidate over the line. Because there's 5 elements to an amazing job offer, and the money is only one of the 5. So when you are writing your job offer, and I actually encourage people to put it in writing. So to give you like a really quick crash course, right? Somebody applies, you do maybe a phone screener, then you get them in for an interview, and then you say, hey, we'd love to have you on board. In principle, are you on board in principle? They go, yes. And then we write a formal job offer. It's not a contract. It's not their contract. It is a letter. And we do this for both contractors and employees. Obviously, these things look different because it's different models. But let's stick with employee model for now. There's 5 key sections within that letter of offer. It's almost like a bit of a sales page because you are selling your business. So you need to look at 5 fundamental things that people want when they come on board with a business within the allied health area. Again, if that's something that you're interested, reach out. That is another 90-minute session that I've done with my academy members, and that was called Writing the Irresistible Job Offer. And it works. It absolutely works. So that comes into it as well. The other thing I would say that I was thinking about, so let me just say, okay, so baseline fundamental benchmarks, you know where to tap out. You need to run the numbers so you're making informed decisions. You want to make sure that it's fair. You want to be able to be transparent. This way, because we have that table, our team also knows what's the next level for them. What are they working towards in terms of progression from a financial standpoint, knowing when to tap out, but also knowing that money is only one aspect, being able to touch on all the other aspects as well. Because I can tell you now, if you are only employing people on the basis that you were the one that offering them the most money, those are the candidates that will jump ship in 6 to 12 months time because they can get something else that pays more money. Also, if somebody comes to you and say, hey, thank you so much, it's a really great offer, but I've also had 2 other interviews and they've offered me X and Y. And then you again go into desperation mode, like, oh, how can I meet those offers because I really want this person over the line. You know, the first thing I would do is say, I hear you. Can you email through the other offers that you've got? Once I can see the details of it, that's when I can actually see whether I can come to the party and meet you somewhere. Because honestly, sometimes people don't really have other offers, right? If I go to the good guys and I want to buy this DeLonghi coffee machine for the office, and it's like $5,000, I can, and they have like a price match thing. I can go, well, I saw at Harvey Norman that they've got the exact same coffee machine for $4,500. The salesperson at Good Guys aren't going to just go, okay, we'll give it to you for $4,500. They're going to take out their phone. They're going to look up Harvey Norman and see, is this actually true, right? So don't be fooled. And I'm not saying I don't trust people. I'm just saying sometimes people fib. Sometimes people are negotiating. And you know what? They can negotiate. They freaking should negotiate. They're being really clever to negotiate. I do not think there's anything wrong with our candidates asking for more money. I'm exposed to the new generation. Is like, good for you. You should be negotiating. You should try and get the best possible offer. Doesn't mean that I can't have my boundaries, okay? I can still have my boundaries and feel good about it and be really clear. And I also know that if I'm gonna offer exorbitant amounts of money and shoot myself in the foot, it's gonna come back to bite me. I'm not doing myself a favor, I'm not doing the rest of the team a favor, and I'm not doing the industry a favor. So it really comes back to me as an individual practice owner to go, you know what, I need to know what my boundaries are. That's good modeling for this person. And if it's not a good fit, even if it's just because of the money, then I'm happy to send them on their way in a very nice manner. And I always keep the door open, because guess what? Sometimes they need to go to the other side, to go work somewhere else, to find that the grass is actually not greener there. We are also very happy to be the next greener grass. We've actually had quite a number of people now over the years decline our job offer, go somewhere else. And this was particularly with contracting, right? Because previously we had mostly a contracting model. Currently, we actually have mostly employees with a good portion of contractors, but it's probably 2/3 employees, 1/3 contractors at our practice right now. But people would leave because they could get a higher percentage somewhere else. Of course, we no longer pay percentages. If you're not registered for next week, Thursday's webinar, make sure you get in there telling you why not to pay percentages. But they would leave for a higher percentage, and they would come back 6 months later and go, do you still have capacity for me to come on board? Because I was getting like 2 clients a day or 3 clients a day, or their average session fee was really low, and I'm not making the money that I really needed to make despite seeing 6-7 clients a day. Or the admin support is actually non-existent, even though they promised me, or the moon in the sky and the stars. So I know that all businesses and employers aren't equal, and I go, you know what, I'm not going to burn that bridge. I'm happy to send somebody on their way, and generally when they come back to us, they stay for a really long time because they've now seen that the grass aren't greener on the other side. So I'm gonna leave it there. So if this is of interest for you, let me know, reach out. The thing is, right, like I said earlier, I've done 90-minute trainings on the Irresistible Job Offer for my academy. It was a 90-minute training on revenue numbers. Every month I do new trainings within the academy. And the reason why I stopped doing short-term 1-day courses, 6-week courses even, as part of what I do as a private practice business coach and mentor, is that I found that each of those standalone courses is like a little piece of the puzzle, right? You're trying to build this puzzle, which is your business. And when I run a training on cash flow forecasting, I'm giving you like 3 pieces. When I run a training on marketing, I'm giving you 5 pieces. When I run a training on recruitment, I'm giving you another 5 pieces. And you're trying to put this all together. And at the end of the day, after quite a number of years of doing this thing of business coaching with allied health professionals, I'm doing my people a disservice because I'm only giving you a few pieces of the puzzle. But you know how puzzles work? You've got these pieces, but the other pieces all need to fit in there as well. And at the end of the day, doesn't matter what type of business function it is, whether it's marketing, HR, money, finances, operations, products, they all need to fit together. And that's when I started the PPS Academy, which is now in its 4th year, I think. And this is not a sales pitch for the Academy, but I want you to know that if you want to build the entire puzzle, you're going to need all the pieces. And it's your job as a business owner to make sure that you get all the pieces, that you know what goes where. And if you need help with that, this is what I am here for. Reach out, email me at gerda@private-practice-success, and we can just have a chat about how I can help. As always, I'm here to help you build a practice you can't stop smiling about. And in my world, that is a practice that can run in my absence.